All right. Well, hello. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the evening brew. I hope everybody is doing absolutely amazing this evening. This is your opportunity to go ahead and like and share. I am so excited about this series that we are in, which is the Access series. And we are so excited to have our amazing guest. Elder Mark Moore Jr. in the house tonight. I'm gonna read. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna read the long
Please don't do
bio.
that.
I won't do that.
That'd be
But
great.
but just know that there's greatness amongst us. All right, just know that.
That would
he
be great.
he is the in charge of the M3 Center. He is in charge of Spirit and Truth Ministries. And he has been entrusted with a very great charge, known as the Young Leaders Conference. And he is just absolutely amazing, very wise. He is a thank you. He is a preacher. He is a great conversationalist. And we are going to get his insight as it pertains to access, because access, I think, is something that sometimes we missteward, sometimes we take for granted, sometimes we just don't know what to do with. And so we're going to take tonight to try to properly place access, what to do with it, how to roll with it, right? And how not to miss out on opportunities when you have been granted access in certain areas. And so we are super excited. So Elder Mark Moore Jr., we are so excited to have you on this evening.
I'm excited too, especially since I finally got my share to go through. So I feel much better now. I'm putting in this group real quick.
All
That
right,
30-second countdown went by fast,
it did.
and
It did.
the 30 seconds ain't what it used to be no more. But I am okay. Put it in that group. Put it in that group. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I feel better now because I've done my part, and I hope that everybody watching will in fact do the same thing and hit share. This is going to be a great conversation. And I am very glad to be a part of it. So Adelia, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. It is an absolute pleasure. And so we will go ahead and we will jump right in to our conversation. And when you hear the word access,
Mhm.
right, what is it that comes to mind for you?
Again, let me begin by saying again, seriously, thank you, Adelia, for letting me be a part. I love what you're doing, and I'm excited just to see a firsthand seat or have a firsthand seat to watch the evolution and the growth. And I really hope everybody's going to share. Let me just throw that in there again. But when I think about access, the first thing that comes to mind is a door. I think of access as the process of something being granted, and really what comes to mind is the process of going from one place to another.
Mhm,
Access is something that all of us want. It's something that we all need
mhm.
if we're going to be effective, whether it's ministry, media, marketplace. You can't do anything without access. Access is room.
Yeah,
Access is space.
that's good.
Access is opportunity. You can have the best idea in the world. You
Mhm,
can have the best plan, the best strategy, the best concept. But
mhm.
if you don't have access or room to make it work,
Right.
then you have nothing more than a fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. And you know what? And that makes perfect sense. Because in order for anything that you dream up, anything that you decide that you want to do, just
Yeah.
like let's take I am a morning coffee. I
Mhm.
am a morning coffee needs access, right, to
Right.
this room, to
Right.
these facilities. And what do you think would have happened if at any point in time, right, I would have mismanaged just the simple opportunity to sit at the desk, right,
Yeah.
and greet? Then that could have jeopardized more access, more for what it is that we're building, what it is that we're doing. And so how would you say that we should manage those different levels of access, like when it comes to our vision? Like, say for instance, when somebody gives us, access to things, like you've given me access to this studio, right?
Mhm.
What do you think people should be aware of when they're granted access in certain areas?
That's a great question. And I think that the first answer that comes to mind is one word, and that word is honorably.
Hmm.
The best way to get more access
Yeah.
is by honorably managing or stewarding. That's the word I like to use.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
access you've been given.
Hmm.
It's so amazing to me, Adelia, how everybody always wants more. They want to be in the inner circle. They want to be closer. They want
Yeah.
to be trusted. They want to be valued. They want their words to be received or perceived as law, but they don't manage or steward the small opportunity that they have in this moment. And I think
Right.
that so many people have closed doors unnecessarily, shut off potential blessings, potential favor,
Mhm.
because they mismanaged a previous opportunity.
Yeah.
The Bible, not trying to preach, but the Bible is very clear. If you're not faithful over that which is in others, who will make you rule of your own? But then it also talks about the importance of managing small things,
Right.
managing, if you're not faithful over little,
Yeah.
how are you going to handle much?
Absolutely.
And so I think that's got to be a key. If you want more access, the question is, and only you can answer it,
Mhm.
how are you managing the little bit you've been given?
Right.
Like, you want to sit at with the CEO, and you want to
Yeah.
sit at those tables. Great. How are you handling the lobby?
Right. That's
How are you
good.
handling
That's good.
your peers? You want to sit with your superiors. Great.
Right.
What's your
Mm.
reputation among your peers?
That's
And
good.
let's go further. You want to sit with the superiors, not just your peers. What is your reputation among those that you would consider to be under you? Like, what do they? I've seen people, churches, ministries, my context. So I've
Right.
seen people, want to be seen by the bishop or by the pastor, the
Mhm.
whatever, and they want to. They walk in the room, and they're so nice and affable and friendly,
Yeah.
but you were hateful to the armor bearer. You were rude to the driver, right? You didn't speak to the usher. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yep.
pointing and snapping
Yep.
essentially to the help, if that
Ooh,
makes
that's
sense.
good.
That's not how you manage access.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Right. No, that's really, really good because I
Yeah.
have seen that as
Mhm.
well, where, one person is one way in front
Mhm.
of somebody that can't do anything for you, somebody
Exactly.
that's not beneficial to you, quote
Mhm.
unquote, right? And then you get in front of those people that can do something for
They can
you.
put you on.
They can put you on.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden your stewardship, if you will, of
Mhm.
your access changes.
And that says so much more about you
Hmm.
than it does the person you're dealing with.
It does.
Because when you're rude or snippy or short with the person that can't do anything for you,
Right.
that's not about that person. That's about you. You
That's
are a
right.
short, rude, snippy, condescending person.
Right.
If you only put on kind and nice and
Hmm.
friendly to someone that can platform you,
Absolutely.
that's an indictment on you.
Right.
You
It
know?
is. And it's a true I think exhibition of who your character, what your
Absolutely.
character is.
Absolutely.
I wrote down this thought as I was preparing for the show, and this really stuck out to me. Frame your stewardship around the ask when assessing for access. Frame your stewardship around the ask when assessing for access. So when people are looking, right?
Mhm.
Because some people are looking for doors, some
Right.
people are looking for opportunities,
Right.
right? Um, how should people frame their stewardship? And let me give an example.
Okay.
So before I come, let's just say there's something that I want from President Obama.
Right.
Before I go to President Obama and I ask for access, I need to know, number one, what I want. I
Right.
need to know what I'm asking for. And I need to frame and prepare for if I get a yes to that access. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, how would you tell people to prepare for proper stewardship around the access? Because you don't want to give somebody access and then they squander it.
Absolutely. So good. And I think you said a lot of it. Number one is knowing what you want. I think back to YLC 21, the virtual
Mhm.
edition. Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick came as a speaker, and he told a phenomenal story that I think speaks to access. He was
Mhm.
talking about when he was a 28-year-old congressman in the state of Michigan.
Mhm.
And he said there was a vote on the floor, and the way things came down, he was the tiebreaker vote. He said, so I realized I got a lot of power here.
Yeah.
He said, so
Wow.
I'm going to hold my vote and make my price go up essentially so that I can get a meeting with the governor.
Yeah.
So when I get a meeting with the governor, then I'm really really in there. So he said, "I've got people from both parties. Kilpatrick, what you gonna do?" He said, "I'm reserving my because he know he had the tiebreaker vote."
Right.
Sure enough, he gets called to the governor's office. Walks in the governor's office, sits down. He's like, nah, I'm here now. I've made it. I'm talking to the man.
Yeah.
So the governor says, "So what do you want?" And he said, I looked around and thought, I was like, I realized I didn't really know what I wanted. He said, so he said, I just wanted to be at the table.
Right.
I just wanted to
Ooh,
be there. I didn't really know what I want. He said, so the
goodness.
governor, who was of the opposing party, he said, "What do you want?" He said, "Well," he said, "I started, just kind of trying to wing it." And he said, "You don't know what you want, do you?" He said, "Let me show you something." He said he reached in his suit coat pocket, pulled out a piece of paper, put it on the table. He says, "This right here, this is a list of everything I want. This. Da, 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 da." He said, "I'm giving you an hour. Don't come back until you have one of these." He said, so I took it as a charge. He said, so I went out. I'm on the floor. He says, I'm asking colleagues, well, what do you want for your city?
Yeah.
Well, I want to. He said, I'm putting it on the list. He said, well, what do you guys want? We want a library. Well, we want our train tracks.
Wow.
He said, so hour later, I go back. He said, I'm already. He said, I put my list down. He said, sir, this is what I want. He says, the governor picks up his list. He says, okay, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no, 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 yes, no, no. Gives it back to him. Says he's like, okay, thank you. He said, no, you're not going to push back or fight for the things you asked for.
Ooh, that's good.
He said, you said you wanted these things, and I told you no. You're not going to try.
Right.
So I didn't know I could do that. He said, he went on to talk about how the governor, even though he was from an opposing party, he taught him such a lesson in that moment about not just wanting to get to the table, but when you're here, come knowing what you want, and then be prepared to fight for your yes. And so I said all that to say, I think number one, we need to know what we want,
right?
But then we also need to know what the need is. If you're talking about access, one of the principles we use, and this applies to sales, this applies to leadership. It's a principle that really applies across the board. Very, very simple. Give, ask.
Yeah.
Right. If you think about email marketing campaign, right? Nobody wants to open an email or hear an appeal where it's all ask. Right. Oh, by the way, here's a water bottle. Nah, you lost me 3 asks ago, right? So it's the principle of I'm gonna give. Then once I've given enough, now what would you do this for me?
Right.
And so I think that when it comes to the context of access, we all, number one, have to know what we want, but you don't lead with what you want.
Right.
When you get an opportunity to approach whoever, whatever, whenever you've been waiting, you want to be mindful that you don't lead, especially if it's a dynamic where someone is very clearly in the position of authority and you are very clearly not on their level.
Yeah.
You don't want to lead with what you want from them, because think about it. They're always being hit with what people want.
Of course. Right.
Always. I had a pastor give me some free advice in the last few weeks about, they had a meeting with their mayor in the city, and meeting in the office, and he says, so what can I do for you, Pastor so-and-so? He says, sir, I'm not here for anything for me. I want to know what can we do for you?
Wow.
So we've got a church in the city, and we see you've got this, and what initiatives are you launching that we can stand along beside you? He says, the mayor just looked at me for a second. You know what? No one ever comes in here and asks what I need. He says, this is amazing. He said, now, from now on, for the rest of his term, I can call him for anything because I differentiated myself by offering to give before I look to receive.
Absolutely.
So I think that I said all that again to say, know what you want. Yes, absolutely. But don't lead with what you want, especially if this is something that's not just transactional. You don't want this to be a one-time thing. You want to develop a relationship here.
Right.
You want this door of access to be a revolving door.
Ooh.
That you can continue, not a door that you had to break in, not a window you had to sneak through.
Right.
You want this to be better than revolving, an automatic door, which means as soon as I walk up, the door opens.
Yeah.
I don't have to knock. I don't need a key. I don't have to what's the passcode? I just get close and the door's open. But that happens when I'm mindful of what I can do and not just what I can get.
Wow.
That's what differentiates a lot of that's a huge separation for a lot of people. What can I give? Not just what can I get. I know what I need.
Right.
And we'll get there.
Right.
But I recognize I become more invaluable if I make you better before you give me ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. That is, first of all, that is really good. And those were a lot of nuggets. And I really hope that y'all are taking notes, because that was absolutely phenomenal. What really captured me was this idea of reciprocation.
Yeah.
And it's almost testing the reciprocation, if you will, because who wants to be in a relationship? That's how you end up being drained. Is that always taking, always asking. And that's actually one of the concepts that you all taught in flight school. And I was in flight school. It was give, ask.
Yep.
And if it's a very, very powerful principle, especially when you have pure intentions,
Right.
pure intentions about what it is that you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really, 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 really good. Now, of course, when we're checking for access, we're trying to get the access. I think, of course, there are red flags, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there are red flags where access shouldn't be granted
Mm-hmm.
or should be revoked. I don't care what you're offering,
Absolutely.
because there are some people that come with very nice offers on the table, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to take it.
Absolutely.
Because then that wraps us up into this covenant or relationship or whatever that is seemingly not healthy. So, what red flags would you say you need to look out for, where access should not be granted or access should be revoked?
Well, that's an amazing question. Here's how I'm going to answer it. I think that because there's so many different industries and situations represented, it would be somewhat difficult to give a cookie cutter on what the exact red flag is. But I will tell you how to identify it.
Okay.
You identify it regardless of your industry. You evaluate the questions that they ask. Think about that.
That's good.
Business relationship, romantic relationship, dating, platonic friendship, whatever. You can tell so much about intention by simply doing an inventory of questions. Because if every question that you're asking about the opportunity that you feel I possess is about how, or at its core, it's about how you're going to benefit, how you're going to grow, how you're going to get better, what you're telling me through your questions is your motive.
Right. Right.
I invite you, think, okay, real simple example, right? Let's say I'm having a VIP event and I call so-and-so, hey, listen, we're having an event and, I wanted to know if you were available to come, right? Now, they know who I am and the content, what I do, It's going to be telling if their first question is, who else is going to be there? Because what you just told me is you're not coming out of the graciousness of our relationship.
Right.
You're coming to see who can I get in front of, who am I going to get to, who am I going to rub elbows with?
Right.
So in other words, I'm not enough. My invitation is not enough. Who else is going to be there? I'm going to be there. So if you didn't want to come because I was going to be there, when I tell you, oh, well, Denzel Washington's going to be at table 1 and President Obama's going to be at table 3 and who Oprah's going to be, well, oh yeah, I'll be there. Well, okay. I'm making a note. Because what you're saying is you're going to leave me.
Right.
For whatever the biggest, better opportunity is of the moment. And that it was a simple question that told on you. Right. So again, that's a crazy example. So in one sense, but the principle applies. Evaluate the questions that they ask. You're trying. I'll use ministry again as a context because again, that's my world I'm most intimately acquainted with. If you're wanting to be on the ministry team, but your only questions are stuff like how much money does this make, or how much does this cost, or how much did that bring in? Well, while that's not necessarily a deal breaker, it does stand out to me that you got money on your mind quite a bit.
Right.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's worth mentioning and putting, a asterisk next to. You got to watch this one because they're very clearly motivated.
Yeah.
You ain't asked about how many people did we help?
Right.
How many backpacks did y'all give away? How many people did y'all feed? Right? How many people got saved?
That's good.
Right. How many people joined the ministry, and how many people did we help with the youth? Whatever. How much money did it bring in? That's all you ever want to know about. That shows me what's important to you.
Right.
And again, depending on your context, there's not necessarily a right or wrong, but you at least need to pay attention to the questions. Because think about this: the questions that you ask tell me what's on your mind.
Absolutely.
The questions you ask, think very, very simplistically, the questions you ask show us all what you want to know. You could have asked about anything, but that question came out of your mouth, which tells us that's what at the top of your mind. You don't want to know anything else more than you want to know this.
Right.
Because this is what you use your access to inquire about. So this is more important to you than anything else.
Right.
I've been blessed to have some very, very great conversations, or some conversations, I should say, with some very great people. And one of the things that I prayed about before I got on this phone, I got on this Zoom, or my appointments coming up, Lord, give me the wisdom to know what to ask. Because if I understand it on the little level that I'm on, how much more do they understand it at the places I'm
Yes.
trying to go? Lord,
Right.
don't let my questions reveal ignorance. Don't let my questions reveal the wrong motive.
Right.
I'm not trying to preach again, but it's getting close to Sunday. All right. But
We
when you think
almost there.
about when God, right, when God asked Solomon, what do you want?
Hmm.
He could have asked for anything, but he said, you know what? Give me wisdom.
Mm.
I said, oh, wisdom, huh? That's
Right.
what you want? You
Right.
you could have
That's
asked me for
good.
anything
Yeah.
and you chose wisdom?
Right.
You asked me to give, that's a question. You asked me to give you wisdom. Because you asked for wisdom, I'm gonna give you that, but I'm gonna give you all of this too. Because
Right.
you knew what to ask for.
Yeah. That's
That's a
good.
principle. If he would have asked for money, okay, well,
That'll
okay,
run out.
that'll run out.
Hmm.
But he asked for wisdom. And after asking for wisdom, he still ends up being richest man in
Yep.
history
Hmm.
because he knew what to ask for. A lot of us, we don't know what to ask for. But on the other end, when we're evaluating access and who do I need to close the door, who do I need to be mindful of,
Yeah.
evaluate same concept just on the other side. What are they asking?
Right.
That says so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That does. And so, and I encourage you all that are listening, right, to really evaluate your ask and evaluate what it is that you're asking for and the intent in what you're asking for. I heard Oprah say, and I'll never walk away from this principle, when she said that she hosted a show and it left a young lady embarrassed,
Mhm.
completely embarrassed, because she was on the show, she was with her husband, found out her husband had another baby, a mistress, and all of that. And she said she stopped and she had to talk to her production team. And she was like, what was the intent of that show? Was the
Mm.
intent to embarrass her? Like what was the motive of it all?
Yeah.
And so when we're asking people, even down to inviting guests
Yeah.
to I Am My Morning Coffee, I
Mhm.
try to be very intentional. Okay, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about this? But I believe truly that we are in this season, is giver season. I
Mhm.
believe that. I believe that right now in this particular season, that those that are giving, harvest is springing up like
Yeah.
left and right. And if you don't know what to do with that harvest, and you don't know what to do with the access that comes along with it, because
Mhm.
access comes along with harvest, because there are going to be people that are going to come along and they're going to see everything that you're doing,
Yeah.
everything that you're getting,
Yeah.
and they're going to be just attracted to what you're getting. But no, we got to talk about how I got this.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about how I got access to this.
Absolutely.
Like this isn't just something that I just walked into.
Not at all.
And so when I think stewardship, I think it's very, very wise for us to be very careful on, like you said, how we're presenting ourselves,
Yes.
what it is that we're saying, the questions that we're asking. I hope that y'all are taking notes, because this is a very, very good and this is a very rich conversation. And it does make me think, because we are close to Sunday, so let's go there. But it does make me think about Jesus and who Jesus allowed access to him.
Mhm.
And I thought it was very interesting. If Jesus knows everything that he did, right? If he knew everything, he still allowed Judas to have access to him, even
Mhm.
knowing what was going to happen.
Yep.
So, how would you advise somebody that knows that they have a Judas there?
Mhm.
Knows that they have a Judas that's in, proximity. We could easily be like, you know what? Hey, you can't be around me no more. I don't want you around me no more. I see you. So I don't want you around
Mhm.
me. However, Jesus, for some reason, kept him around.
Mhm.
How would you advise somebody that has someone that has ill motive, ill intent, continued access
Mhm.
to you? Like what would you advise them to do in that situation?
This is you asking some real questions. This is great stuff, Adelia. And this is going to require a lot of maturity and a lot of wisdom here.
Mhm.
But the answer that I would give using Jesus and Judas as a paradigm is you have to have an understanding of the time and the season.
Mm,
Jesus recognized that Judas, while a thief, Judas, while clearly disloyal,
mhm,
Judas, while low character in some ways, Judas served a purpose
mhm.
that Jesus needed filled. Judas filled a role, I'll say, that
Mhm.
Jesus needed.
Yeah.
If my only reason for being here is to walk the earth, heal the sick, raise the dead, open blind eyes, as a means or on the way to fulfilling my ultimate goal of hanging on the cross,
Mhm.
dying, fulfilling prophecy, being pierced in my side,
Yeah.
blood and water coming out, not a bone broken,
Yeah.
right? Dying so that I could fulfill the
Mhm.
penalty for death, because the wages of sin is death.
Right.
And without the shedding of blood, there could be no remission of sins. So if I'm only here to shed blood, die, go to hell, snatch the keys, raise myself 3 days
Right.
later, if that's the only reason I'm here, then I need somebody
Mhm.
to facilitate that betrayal. So we think about it like this. Jesus had a need on the team
Wow.
that Judas was uniquely qualified to fill.
Ooh,
He
that's
was he was
good.
he was he was he did he have the highest character? No.
Mhm.
Did he have the highest loyalty? No.
Right.
But did he do his job well?
Yeah.
Better than anybody.
Yeah.
Think about it. I know that sounds
No,
no,
but
think about it.
you're right.
You need somebody to betray and set you up to be sold out and crucified. Just it's my specialty. I do this.
I got this.
Who did it? And when we think about betrayal from a historical perspective, who fits the bill better than Judas? He was literally the best at his job.
Yes, he was.
Nothing. I
He
know.
was.
At home, just stay with me. I know. It don't
Walk
feel
with
good.
us. Walk with us.
I know. But let's apply it. Let's apply it. Jesus picked somebody that was great at his job, even though he had character issues. I say that to say, sometimes. Now, let me add this.
Mm,
Judas didn't keep the job forever,
right.
but he kept it long enough for Jesus to get where he needed to go.
Yeah.
Now, Judas does not keep that job much longer.
Mm-mm.
They ended up replacing him
Yes.
because he ended up going the way of the dinosaur, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
But Jesus kept him in position until the job was done, because he needed somebody that had Judas's unique skill set. Nobody's gonna shout on this. I understand. And y'all not even
But
sharing.
that's
I'm not saying
good.
nothing, and I got some good stuff right here. I done messed around and looked down at the thing. Thank you, Olivia and Regina and Jasmine and James and Teresa. Thank you. And Janelle, I see you watching. Vashawn, hey. I need y'all to share. We talking way too good.
This is good. This is rich. This is a rich conversation.
Yeah. I need to do better than this.
Y'all come on and share in here.
Y'all gonna make me cut this light on so I can see y'all can see us even better, because I need y'all to hear me. Now, so I say that to say, sometimes as you're building or developing or cultivating or expanding, there might be some people on the team that they're not really for me.
Yeah.
They don't really love me as much as they love what we do and what happens. God knows I've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good
Right.
one.
But sometimes leadership is, I'm gonna let you stay right there. Now I got my good eye on you, because I know what it is.
Yeah.
Now watch this. Thank you, Jesus. Jesus was not caught off guard. Let's be very clear. Judas was there,
Right.
but Jesus wasn't caught off guard.
At
He ended up
all.
telling him, he said, listen, one of y'all.
Yeah.
He didn't say which one, but he knew.
He did.
He knew what he had.
Yep.
He knew. And as leaders, sometimes you got to know what they are and let them stay in position long enough until the replacement is ready.
You're talking good.
Nobody likes that part, but it's true.
You're talking good.
I'm trying.
No, you did that, because the grand scheme of things, like, he let Judas continue to eat at the table.
Yeah, sit down, because you're gonna need nourishment to go out and betray me, right?
Oh my God, to betray me, right?
Yeah.
Come on, somebody.
Get something to eat.
Wow. Eat something good here at my table.
Yeah.
And I'm steady feeding you.
Steady feeding you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this about Judas. I truly believe, Judas killed himself because he didn't recognize the access that he had. You could have turned it around. Peter did.
Yep.
And you had the opportunity to do that.
Yep.
To change the whole thing, change the whole narrative.
Yep.
Say that, hey, I apologize. And matter of fact, let's talk about apologies. Let's talk about how apologies, I think, and this is so off the script, but how
This your show. Go ahead.
apologies can really, I think, open up new doors
Oh yeah.
that people have no idea. And I'm talking to y'all that feel like you may have damaged a relationship, or you may have damaged something, or you feel as though you may have improperly stewarded access to something or somebody, not intentionally. You meant well. However, meaning well doesn't necessarily mean that it goes well.
Right.
And so apologies and repentance is really important to open up fresh and new doors. I think even with our access to God, I think that can be improperly stewarded. I think God can give us opportunities, give us resources, give us things, and then we show. Matter of fact, I will never forget when you said, God, you was preaching, and you said something about God saying, "Now I know."
Mm-hmm.
And I always carry that with me. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever I'm doing something or anything, is God saying, "Now I know," like now I know she's not ready,
Yeah.
or now I know she is ready, or what is it? What is it that she is ready for, that
Yeah.
God knows about me? So how would you say that access to God can be improperly stewarded?
I think access to God, just like anybody else, is always maximized through obedience.
Mhm.
Think about this. I have no problem. I'm using me as a regular man. I have no problem sharing wisdom, insight, blueprint. How do you do that? It's an honor. If you
Mhm.
think about it, if people ask, yo, no, I've never seen anybody do this
Yeah.
like you do. How would you do this? You
Right.
make the right approach to the I'll spend all day. All right, do it like this. Da, 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 da. But you know what's going to cause that well to dry up?
What?
Let me take the time to give you a blueprint. You leave the meeting and do the opposite
Mm.
of what I told you to do.
Wow.
Then you come
Yeah.
back, hey man, whew, man, I really got beat up out there. Man, I'm then lost my money. Didn't nobody show up for the event? Da, 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 da. What would you do to fix this?
Good.
Well, what I would have done is what I told you to do.
Yeah.
ABC 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got it.
Mm.
I didn't understand full. Okay, go on. 1, 2. You got it. You go out. You do something different than what I told you to do. You come back again. Hey, just call, make an appointment because I'm.
Yeah.
You can book a consultation because
Yeah.
I ain't got no more.
Yeah.
Nah, that
Yeah.
door shut.
That's good.
And when
That's
can we
good.
sit down again? We can't. We can't.
I'm
We
not
can't.
available.
I'm busy. I'm so busy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because what happened? A lack of obedience,
Mhm.
compliance,
Yeah.
ability to follow instructions,
Yeah.
however you want to frame it, that shut off access. So if that's how I work as a natural, and we could say the same thing. How do I get my podcast up? You, especially knowing you'll show people, you give the shirt off your back, so to speak, to help people. Da, da, da. But if they keep showing you, they're not
Mm.
gonna follow. At a certain point, hey, I got other things I got to do. I'm not gonna keep casting my pearls before swine.
Right.
That's how you are. That's how I am. That's how we are.
That's right.
But
That's good.
God, how do you think He feels when we take our access and don't walk in obedience?
Right.
Oh my
Right.
God, show me you, show me you, show me you. Okay, here I am. Oh,
Oh
that's
my
beautiful, but
Lord.
I'm not gonna do what you told me to do. Wait, what?
Right.
You want to keep coming behind the veil, so to speak. You want to keep coming
Ooh, man.
deeper and in the you want to keep coming in, but you don't want to do what I told you to do to stay here. Well,
Right.
then you don't need to be here.
Mm.
Yeah,
So it's safe to say that it takes work
yeah,
to manage access.
yes.
And for our generation, and I think just what we're seeing, right?
Mhm.
People are just creating things and throwing things out there and support me, support me, support me. However, number one, you failed to support.
There's that.
There's that,
There's
right?
that.
That's that ask and then give.
Yeah.
No, that's too much asking.
Yep.
But we have to be very, very careful and mindful that it does take work to
Yeah.
manage this.
Yeah.
Like God doesn't just drop things in our lap and be like, "Oh, here, you can just take
No.
it." No, you
Mm-mm.
have to put in the work and you have to put in the time.
Yeah.
And I post sometimes that I have that I have these 5 a.m. board meetings with God,
Yeah.
and in the morning times, at least for me, that's when I get my instruction. That's when I get, okay, God, what is it that you'll have me to do? What is it that you want me to do? How
Yeah.
do you want me to move today? Because I have definitely been guilty of things being dropped in my lap. And then it's so much, I kind of don't know what to do with it. And
Yeah.
I've lost opportunities because of it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that when I published my first self-authored book, I was not prepared.
Mhm.
My pastor was like, everybody's buying a book this morning.
Yeah.
Asked me, did I have books? I didn't know you were going to do that. I didn't
You
know
had
I
opportunity.
had opportunity,
Yeah.
but I was not prepared.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it definitely takes work. It takes anything that you love,
Mhm.
anything that you care about,
Yeah.
you prepare for.
Yeah.
You prepare for it. And I think even when it comes to expected access that you don't necessarily have yet, I
Mhm.
think that it's very, very important to prepare for the access that you desire.
Absolutely. I agree. 10,000%.
So
Because if you don't prepare for what you desire, then what will you do when you get it?
right.
Now we
Right.
go back to Adelia, who's about to sell out, who didn't
Mhm.
have any books.
Mhm.
We go back to Mary Kilpatrick,
Mhm.
who's about to get his library and all these, but he didn't have no list.
Right.
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 You have access. And the crazy, and I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But the crazy thing is, it's like this social media age, access is the prize.
Yeah.
Like if you think about, I'm so glad you brought this up because it made me think about something I'm going to run with. I've been in rooms with people with, notable figures. And it's amazing to me that there are always two groups of people in the room. There are some people who realize that I have this access
Mhm.
to get information,
Mhm.
or I have this access to get wisdom, or have this access
Mm.
to glean. But then
Mhm.
there's another group that says, I have this access, you ready?
Mhm.
To show other people I have this access. So I've been in rooms with like heavy, I'm not trying to name drop,
Oh no, that's
but with
good.
heavy people, and half of the people have their phone on do not disturb, in their pocket, in their briefcase, nowhere near them. They're right here.
Mhm.
They're looking, they're listening, they're gleaning, they're receiving, and then other people aren't even listening for
Oh my
like
God.
Oprah's over here for the same illustration. Oprah's dropping wisdom
That's good.
on how to be a billionaire or whatever it is, and half the people are receiving. Then other people, I'm here with Oprah. What did you want access for?
Right.
You're using access as the prize without realizing access is a vehicle,
Ooh.
right? Access is it's a tool to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
But in this social media see me era, access is
man.
I did it.
Wow.
No, what are you getting the access for?
Right.
You did all that to get in the room to get a selfie? I'm not trying to whatever. I'm just talking to you.
No, that's good, Jasmine.
I'm being honest with you. I was I'll be real broad. In the last 3 months,
Mhm.
I've been in some places, straight access, straight favor of God, all favor of God. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't deserve to be there. I got the call. We want you, and then I get there. I'm being whisked and escorted, and I find myself in the company of great men outside. And part of what stood out to me is after the event. After the event, I'm on social media, whatever. I'm looking, and all these people, some of whom were at the same space I was,
Yeah.
their pictures and selfies and and they got all the pictures with this one, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I didn't get no pictures. I didn't get a picture with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did get was access to the room in the room, and I got a conversation.
Ooh,
I got,
so good.
and I've been asking everybody about you. When we gonna talk? I got here. Take this number down. So, no, I didn't get no picture. I can't even prove I was there, but I got a number to call.
Ooh, my
You see what I'm
God.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to determine,
good.
is access going to be the prize? or am I going to use access as a vehicle to get to the prize? The
Right.
prize is insight. The prize is
Yes.
wisdom.
Yes.
The prize is the opportunity to develop and cultivate relationship. Forget a selfie.
Right.
I don't know. What am I going to do with a selfie?
Right.
I'm gonna show you that I happen to be in the same space as something. What do I have to show for it other than the selfie?
Right.
What information do I have now, pre or post selfie, that I didn't have pre selfie?
Right. Wow.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because I saw access as the prize. Access is a vehicle. Come here. Access is a door.
Ooh,
right?
Exactly.
It's a door to what though?
Right.
You've come through the door. Now, what are you gonna do when you're in the room?
Right.
That's
Right.
how I look at it.
That is so good. Jasmine said that. Let's see.
Did Jasmine share? That's all I care about.
Jasmine, did you share? Please share.
Gold star for you.
Please share, sis. But she said that's squandered access.
Squandered.
So even though you, oh God, this is so good. So even though you were in the room, what happened was you walked out with more access.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to be clear. I'm not faulting anybody for getting a selfie or what. I'm not, please don't think I'm something like that.
No.
But was that your whole goal to get to be there?
But this is why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Because somebody is about to venture off into a room where you're with some very notable people. You're being invited places. You're getting these invitations. And what are you going to do with the invite?
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you get in the room? What are you going to say? Yep. Right. And you're absolutely correct. If I'm in a room with Oprah, I'm quiet.
You should be.
And it reminds me of the Mount of Transfiguration. When Jesus took them up to the and they started talking, and all of a sudden everything shifted and changed. Y'all should have just been quiet. And just watch Jesus do what Jesus does.
You'll learn more. I remember, you know what? I remember I was a little boy, and I was in the back seat of the car, and I was riding with my aunt and uncle somewhere. I'm in the back seat of the car, and I'm the oldest. I'm the golden child, you know. So I'm sitting in the back, and I was insulted because my aunt and my uncle had the nerve to try to talk in code in front of me. Code? In front of me? Y'all gonna try to talk over my head? I'm offended. So I sat there in the back seat. I sat there. I said, y'all know I know what y'all are talking about, right? Because again, I had to tell them, you're not gonna play me.
Right.
I'm 7. I know stuff. I'm a big boy. I'm 7 years old. I'm out here.
That's funny.
So I said, I know what y'all talking about.
Right.
Because I didn't let them know. They got quiet. I'll never forget. My uncle didn't even turn around. He said, just know you would have found out more if you would have been quiet. Oh.
Ooh, yeah, that was a hit in the chest right there.
You would have learned more tea if you would have been quiet.
Now that's good.
You would have got more insight.
Absolutely.
But how many of us are like 7-year-old me? Right. I got to let you know how much I know. Right. Got to let you know how smart I am. Just shh. You can't say everything you see. You can't you can't address everything. Sometimes you have to be aware and quiet.
Right. Come on.
Amen.
Come on. Now that's a whole strategy. Aware and quiet.
I see everything.
Right.
I heard everything.
Right. Don't think I don't know.
I know what you said. I know who you said it to.
Right.
Because sometimes, dumb, you'll say something to somebody or with somebody, they'll get convicted and they'll come back and tell on both of y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I wasn't right. I was with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, and we said, and I just want you to know that wasn't right. Come here, it's all good. But now, so-and-so, 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 you on my list. And I ain't going to tell you I know what you said, but I know what you said.
Right. Right. Now that's good. This is good. Are y'all sharing this?
Let me check again.
I need y'all to share again. Jasmine said, "Wait, how your uncle just hurt my feelings?
Won't he do it?
Hurt mine too."
He said you would have learned more if you would have just been quiet.
Yeah, we need y'all to share this because this is really, really good. Because for where some of us are going,
Hmm.
we need to be prepared. And a lot of times this is access that you don't even ask for.
Yeah,
This is stuff that you don't even like. God, I didn't even ask for this,
yeah,
but here I am.
yeah.
Here I find myself. Um, this has been such an amazing conversation. I really, 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 really want y'all to share. Have there ever been a time where you yourself have misused access? If so, what did you
Yes,
learn?
absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes. I mishandled it in the backseat of that car, talking too much. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But no, yes. And I think you're not going to find anybody
Yeah,
that has not done that. No,
of
nobody
course.
that's doing anything. All of us have,
Yeah,
because access goes both ways. We only think of access. Think about this, Adelia, in a hierarchy, in the context of a hierarchy, where
hmm,
we think of somebody above us.
right.
But do you realize that the people you work with on a peer level have to give
Yeah,
you access? Do you realize that the people, and again, I don't mean this in a
right.
condescending way, but the people that are, if we think about a corporate structure
Yeah,
or a flow chart, or responsibilities, the people that are under you,
yeah,
access is still required to speak into them.
right,
I don't-
right.
Your children, for those that are parents, yes, you're the mom, you're the dad, but do you realize your children still have to give you a degree of access
Mm-hmm.
to even parent them?
Absolutely. Ooh.
I don't mean, of course, I'm not talking about a permission slip, but how they obey, how they comply is
Oh,
access.
that's good.
Do you listen? Listening is what? Access. I'm tuning you out. What
Right.
is it? I'm not giving you access. Access is required on every level, not
Yeah.
just up and down, not just vertically,
Right.
but horizontally.
Absolutely.
Right? The people that I work with, they have to. I have to give them access, or they have to give me access to know them,
Mm-hmm.
share my feelings. Hey, let's not do it that way. All that requires access. There's no leadership without access. And so
Right.
if you look at access in that context, then all of us have mismanaged it at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
We mismanaged it with the coworker.
Mm-hmm.
We mismanaged the employee,
Right.
or the choir director, or the musician, or the fellow usher, or the whatever.
Right.
Anytime you mismanage people or mishandle people, even if it's unintentionally, which I would hope it always is. We're trying to do right.
Right.
But whenever you mismanage that, that's mismanaging access. They gave you an opportunity to know them at that
Mm.
level. And if you didn't handle it right, that's access.
Right.
Mhm.
Mm. And that's a and wow. And when you were talking, it did make me think about how if you're the CEO, you don't have necessarily the key to every building or every room in the
Mhm.
building.
Mhm.
But if you call the custodian,
Yep.
he has the key to every single room.
Mhm.
And so you mistreat him. You mistreat the ones with the keys. You mistreat, oh, this is so good. You mistreat the ones that you think aren't valuable to you
Yep.
because they aren't posting the selfies.
Yep.
And so we do have to be very careful with how we manage certain things because you don't know who has access to,
Mhm.
and you think you know, but
Yep.
but you don't. And so it's very, very, very. Oh God, this is so good. It's very, very important to manage the people that you have around you.
Yeah.
This conversation personally is blessing me.
Good. 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 Good.
So thank you. I'm learning as I go. And it does make me think how um just off the strength of
Mhm.
your word can give you access. How you manage yourself, how you take care of
Yeah.
yourself can give you access. People will do things just at your name.
Absolutely.
If somebody just said, "Oh, can you do this for Mark Moore Jr.?" just because of the name alone, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll do that."
No.
But we have to be so careful on how we manage our names and how we manage our visions and how we manage everything that God has given us and how we steward everything that God has given us so that we can allow everything that we're building to allow people to have access to us.
Right.
How do you determine, well, depending on what level, how do you from a business perspective determine, you know what, I'm going to allow this person in about right here and I'm going to allow this person in about right here, and I'm gonna allow this person in about right here because I'm you strike me as a very wise man, and so I'm sure there's
A lot of
research,
trial and error.
a lot of trial and error.
Lot
So
of bump in your head.
so how do you determine what level or what phase, if you will, that you allow people in to, whether it be the structure
Mhm.
of YLC, the structure of Spirit and Truth, or
Mhm.
even personally? How do you make that determination? Like, you know what? I think it's time to bring you further in.
Yeah, I think several things, and the foundational thing, number one, is discernment. Let's
Hmm.
start there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I got to feel. The Bible says, "Know them that labor among you."
Hmm.
Right? I gotta get to know you. But then to kind of work backwards, well, how do you get to know somebody?
Right.
Well, one of the ways we get to know someone and we build an idea and image around somebody is number one, their resume.
Hmm.
Where did you come from?
Yeah.
Who did you belong to?
Yeah.
Because honestly, there's some people that would join Spirit and Truth or join the ministry or join YLC or whatever, who will immediately get promoted, immediately be placed in a position of authority
Hmm.
for no other reason than I know where you came from.
Hmm.
No, we haven't known each other for 10 years, but you said, "Hey, I just moved to Atlanta from such as I was so and so's assistant."
Yeah.
You were for so and so? I know so and so. So I pick up the phone, call so and so.
Right.
I'm gonna use Bishop Brandon Jacobs for example.
Yeah.
You come down here, you move to Atlanta. Hey, I was one of Bishop Jacobs' armor bearers. You were?
Yeah.
Okay. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call Bishop Jacobs.
Hmm.
Hey, bro, you know so and so? Oh yeah, man, they just moved to Atlanta. They were one of my armor bearers. Really? Were they a good one? One of the best, man. Hey, there we
Wow.
go. Thanks so much. Love you.
Wow.
You
Mm.
now, you might not have to go through the same 6-week training process. You
Ooh.
might need to come on right now and help me finish the curriculum for
Right.
the because I know where you come
That's
from. Oh,
good.
I know how they do things.
Right.
They do things here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you didn't just name drop, but I could verify. That's the whole nother conversation. You dropped the name. I picked up the phone, called the name you dropped. They
Hmm. They
verified your story.
verified you.
Okay, so what do you not have? You have access
Right.
because I know where you come from.
Right. Right.
That's resume,
Yeah.
right? But the other thing that goes along with resume is um, I would say chemistry, right?
Hmm.
You might not have the resume, so you got to watch you, observe you, but how do you interact in the room?
Right.
Are you the one that's only doing work when I'm there
Hmm.
looking over your shoulder? You see my car pull up, oh, let me grab a broom. Look like I'm busy.
Right.
No, or are you the one that they're
That's
reporting back?
good.
Hey, so and so was here. I think about Ruth and Boaz.
Hmm.
One of the things that stood out about Ruth is that when Boaz showed up and inquired of his field
Hmm.
managers, essentially, who was that?
Hmm.
What is she doing here? They vouched for her and said,
Yeah.
hey, number one, that's so and so's daughter. That's Naomi's daughter-in-law.
Right.
Resume.
Right.
So now we know where you come from. But then they vouched for her work. Say,
Hmm.
hey, she been here early. She
Yep.
been working. Da, 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 da.
Yep. That's
They
good.
vouched for chemistry,
Right.
integrate
Ooh.
how she behaved, how she
Ooh.
managed herself. So I
Yes.
think that if we would look at those two things, that would determine where we put people and when we put them there.
Hmm.
The best way to get level 10 clearance is to properly handle level 2 clearance.
Right.
If you
Absolutely.
can handle level 2, we don't
Absolutely.
even have a conversation about you being here.
Right.
No. You don't need to go back there.
Hmm.
If you couldn't keep your mouth shut over this, you don't need
Hmm.
to be in the finance room.
Right. Right.
Think of, you know what I'm saying?
Now that's
Now you run,
good.
go.
Right.
You don't need to be back there.
Right.
Or
Right.
you couldn't keep your money, or you couldn't keep your mouth shut about finance. So I'm definitely not gonna put you over counseling.
Right. Mm. Yeah.
So now we need to pray for so and so because she gonna let me tell you what
And
she said. No, you can't. No, you're supposed. Shh. No,
right.
you don't need to be over there because you talk too much.
Right. Absolutely.
And I only
Absolutely.
noticed that, or I'm only aware of that through observation, and that's another reason why we can't be so quick to throw people in positions. No,
Hmm.
who's going to do the work without a title? That's who
Right.
needs who needs the
Ooh, come
position.
on.
If you need the position or the title to do the work, you don't need it.
Right. Right.
Nah.
No.
Who can see the need,
Yes. Absolutely.
feel the need,
Yeah.
That's who needs the parking spot and the name badge in the office or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's how I think that goes.
Yeah.
Oops.
No, I agree. It's the I believe that you do the work. The work earns you the title.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
When you are doing the work, like we have dreams, right? We got visions. I have a specific reason as to why I want I am on morning coffee on
Mhm.
larger networks, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a message, and I think there's a level of insight that is necessary that some people may not necessarily have access to, because the media is just so flooded with just
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff that we can really just do without. And
Yes.
so conversations like this, where we're talking about, okay, so how do I manage when I'm in a room with a certain person? Or how do I manage access to people? People may not be privy to things like this, because I grew up on the pew side of things, not the pulpit side of things.
Uh,
So when I first started working in ministry, there were certain things that I just didn't know. There were a lot of things that I just did not understand.
mhm.
Um, and like we talked about, misusing or misstewarding access, not necessarily on purpose, but I remember I embarrassed myself one time because I asked the question that, and it was just like, don't ever ask that again. It's like, well, it was innocent,
Right.
right? But it was like, I truly
Now I
didn't.
really want to know what happened. You got me
We'll talk
curious
about
now.
it offline.
Okay, deal.
But I really, it was because I really didn't understand. I
Mhm,
don't understand this side of things. Why are things like this? Why I don't understand.
mhm.
So because there are so many people that have so many things that they want to do, I think conversations like this is important to have to prepare us for where we're going and what it is that we're doing, because
Yeah.
even now you're really helping me and preparing me, not necessarily for conversations as it pertains to ministry, but conversations as it pertains to my profession,
Wow.
for social work. Like
Mm,
there are doors that I have to get in. There's people that I have to there are people that I have to sit in front of, and
yeah.
we have to talk legislation.
Yeah.
We have to talk about things that are affecting our kids
Yeah.
that start all the way up here, and you have no idea what it's like on ground level.
Yeah.
And so I have to know, okay, when I get in this room,
Yeah.
how do I take my ground level experience and bring this up to somebody that has never been down here and make it make sense to them?
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, how do I say this is what I need from you as a legislator, or this is what I need from you as whatever, and make it make sense to you? How do
Yeah.
I talk your language? How
Yeah.
do I change the verbiage to make you understand what it is that I need?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're really, really helping me
Wow.
and preparing me for different levels of where it is that I am going personally. And I know that you all are enjoying it. And I hope that you are taking notes, because he has been dropping nuggets all night long. And we're coming close to the end. I don't want this to end because I really enjoy talking to you. You're
I,
actually an amazing conversationalist.
well, I try. The pleasure's mine. It's feelings are mutual.
You do great. You do great. So I think this has been absolutely amazing. What is it that you would like to share, or what do you want people to know as it pertains to access, maybe that we haven't talked about or that we haven't addressed? What do you think that we may be missing? What do you want the people to know?
That's a great question, and I think we've maybe tapped around it or danced around it.
Hmm.
But I want to go deeper and even more clear. What I would say is, if you've been given access, steward it well.
Yeah.
Your goal, our goal, my goal, your goal, out there, everybody's goal should be, if I've been given access,
Hmm.
how do I leave this entity, business, ministry, team,
Hmm.
school, whatever the context is?
Hmm.
How do I leave it better than it was when I got here?
Yes.
Period.
Right.
You want more access?
Hmm.
Develop a track record of leaving spaces better. Watch me. Not
Oh, come
because you
on.
leave, but when you leave.
Right.
Some places, they're better the moment you walk out the door, because ding dong, the witch is dead. No. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm saying, if God should shift you, move you, they ought to be crying
Yeah.
and fighting.
Yeah.
How can we get you to stay?
Wow.
Not because you sabotaged us and built a kingdom around yourself where you're the only
Mm.
person that can do anything. No. But
Yeah.
because you made everything better. You solved problems.
Yeah.
You were a self-starter. You were easy to work with.
Hmm.
You walked in care and compassion. You told the truth.
Hmm.
You weren't passive aggressive. I mean,
Hmm.
so many things go here.
Right.
Leave things better,
Right.
and you will always get access.
Wow.
to either come back
Mm-hmm.
where you were or to go into a new. There are some people that have passed through these doors that will always be welcome back.
Yeah.
I mean, always.
Yeah.
Job changes and people move and get married, and all these things happen.
Right.
There is we're leaving the door cracked for you
Mm-hmm.
whenever you want to come back.
Yeah.
Please. There are other people.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
You don't want to be that person.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And always start or try to with the end in mind.
Mhm.
How, and you're right. My mom actually taught me that.
Yeah.
I've never moved out from somewhere and didn't leave it better
Mhm.
than how I found it. Always smelled like bleach when
There
I
you
left,
go.
right? So
There you go.
so it is very important to be mindful of the impression that you leave.
Yeah.
And I'll say this and then we'll wrap up. But I think it's important to be mindful of kind of working your way backwards. What memories are you creating from your presence?
Mhm.
What do you want people to say? How do you, not as a sense of control,
Yeah.
but how do you want people to feel when they encounter you? What do
Yeah.
you want them to say
Yeah.
when you walk away,
Yeah.
right? um and start there and
Yeah.
then work your way backwards.
Yep.
Like, how do you want people to love you? How do
Yeah.
you want people to encounter
That's
you?
so good.
So love people the way that you want to be loved,
Yeah.
and treat people the way that you want to be talked about.
Yeah.
And then and then I think that'll open up doors. And honestly, I think love has been the thing that has opened up doors, at least for me personally.
Yeah.
So and so for those that are listening, those that have watched, I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. This has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Make sure that you follow Elder Markmore Jr. at M More Jr.
Please do.
Follow Spirit and Truth at Spirit and Truth IG. Follow the Explore YLC pages, and make sure that you join us tomorrow at 7,
Yes.
at 9,
Yes.
and
And
at
tomorrow
4.
at 4 o'clock.
All right, I
We're,
remember
we're
summer
shifting
schedule.
our summer schedule. Yeah. And there's one more announcement I want to make. I want everybody that's watching. Clearly, you're already following or connected with Adelia, but I want to challenge you all to just sow a seed into what she's doing. This is an amazing, and I'm doing it while I'm
Oh
telling you to
wow.
do it. This is an amazing platform, an amazing green circle. Yeah, I just did mine. Okay, I did mine. I just sold $500
What?
into I Am My Morning Coffee. I hope everybody, the Cash App is $. Make sure I get it right. $overflow AJ. I just did mine. Everybody, real quick, just get $20 and sow it. This is a worthy cause, a worthy goal, and I want you to sow. Thank you. I'm done.
Don't end it yet. Just
Yeah, we're going.
just
I'll see you at church tomorrow.
no.
Nope.
I can't. So he has dropped the mic on me. But that's okay. Oh my gosh, I was not prepared for that. But thank you all. I'm on this camera. Okay. Thank you all so much for all of those that have tuned in to I Am My Morning Coffee. I'm withholding my tears until we end the live, but thank you to anybody and everybody that have decided to sow into this cause. Please know that every conversation, everything is meant to elevate and create a charge in the earth for our purposes to be completed. And so I love you all. I thank you all so much. Well, since he ran off, I'm going to show y'all what his gift is. Okay, so since he left, but just know that we love over here, and this is such an amazing vision that I want to make sure that we commemorate the moments that we have. And if you were at Tuesday Night Revival, then you understand how powerful that image is. Oh my gosh. But this is what we do over here. And it says, may the will of God be realized and dispatched from this place, the M3 Center, where I am coming to you live. on this amazing Saturday night. And well, I'm gonna go cry now. This has been I Am My Morning Coffee. Thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. And we will see you on May 21st, where we will have our next Access series. And stay tuned to all of the I Am My Morning Coffee platforms so that you can see who's on next. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night.